Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good day. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. This podcast is going to be on visualization. And as usual, I'm going to start this podcast off with a quote. To bring anything into your life, imagine that it's already there. And that's a quote by Richard Bach. I'm trying out something new. Instead of using my phone, I'm using my tablet. So if it looks like I'm looking over here instead of over there, forgive me. I'm still getting used to the tablet. It's a little bit different, but it's a welcome change. We're gonna see how it goes from here. So jumping into the podcast, what is visualization? Well, if you type in visualization into Google, you find that it has three definitions, two of which I find apply to our topic. Number one is the formation of mental and visual images. And number two, the act or process of interpreting in visual terms or of putting into a visible form. So, what is the process of visualization? Basically, the process of visualization provides with a quick and clear understanding of the information thanks to a graphic representation. We can visualize large volumes of data in an understandable and coherent way, which in turn helps us to comprehend the information and draw conclusions and insight. So basically, visualization, helps us to put things in perspective. It helps things to be clear, precise, and, you know, focused about what we want. Um, a lot of people and specialists and stuff like that, they kind of relate this to dreaming. When you're a little kid, you dream about stuff like, hey, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut, or nothing seems impossible. But then as you become an adult and we face more hardships, or we start to realize certain aspects of life, or things just don't go our way on a fairly regular basis, then we start to get these perceptions about life and these doubts about what we can and cannot do, and people reinforce those by telling us what we can and cannot do, and that stuff kind of wears down on us. So as we grow up, we lose our ability to dream. And dreaming is a very important aspect of your mentality, because dreaming is a form of visualization. Sometimes your dreams might just be you know your memory replaying your day, or just being creative while you sleep. But sometimes those can be a form of visualization. um I know when I was in high school and I was studying and attempting to get my private pilot's test or my private pilot's license, I practiced visualization. When I would fly, I would be 100% there. I would be focusing. I would be flying. When I would go home or back to the school, I would play with Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then that Microsoft Flight Simulator would help me to get you know, the muscle memory of doing certain things. Practicing procedures, maybe kind of loosely associating where buttons and levers were, but it still gave me that mental rehearsal and that muscle memory. Even though the controls weren't exactly the same that I was using, it still gave me that muscle memory and that rehearsal. And then sometimes, even when I would sleep, or I would be studying and I needed a break or something, I would visualize. I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time, but it's what I did because I read forums and some pilots, um, the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, that actually go through their performance in their heads. While they're on the ground, they close their eyes and they kind of go through the performance in the head, walking it through with hand gestures, um just to get an idea of what they need to do, where they need to be, how the plane needs to be set up, entry speeds, exit speeds, stuff like that. So a lot of people do it. Famous athletes, football players, um, people who have big performances or rehearsals coming up. Um, a lot of people engage in visualization. It's the unkept secret. I feel that we should practice visualization more than we do, because visualization is a very powerful tool. Um, it can help to place your mind in a space where you want to be. Like you might not be there yet, but through visualization, daily practice, and doing the things we've talked about in other podcasts, you're gonna get there. I can't tell you when exactly you're gonna get there. But visualization definitely helps you to focus on your goal and to drive you towards that goal. Again, it goes into the principle of vibration or the law of attraction. Like attracts like. So if in your mind, you're already there where you want to be, then that vibration, that frequency is going to attract like to it. And it's going to help you again realize your dreams and realize your goals. The proven benefits of visualization. So the brain is getting trained for actual performance during visualization. It's been found that mental practice can enhance motivation, increase confidence and self-efficacy, improve motor performance, prime your brain for success, and increase states of flow, which are all relevant for achieving your best life or achieving your goal. So in doing this muscle memory, it literally places your body there. You can jump 10 years, 5 years, a year into the future, and you can actually place your body in that position where you want to be. I know I keep looking over here at the cameras over there. Apologies, I'm getting used to it. But it's mental rehearsal. It's getting ready for the big show. If you have a speech coming up, you can close your eyes, visualize you're on the stage, go over it in your head. It's just all about putting yourself there, creating that frequency to attract like unto yourself. So I went onto the Psychology Today website and I did some research. This is a great research website that discusses in depth a lot of the principles that we talk about during my podcast, but in a psychological form, because a lot of these things are psychological. They're aspects of your mentality, things that you need to do to mentally, that you can help yourself go further in life, be more productive, accomplish more goals, defeat bad habits, stuff like that. So I really like going to the Psychology Today website. Also, I love psychology, and this is a really good website. But I found yet another good article on visualization. And in this article, again, there was a lot to take away. But mostly what I took away are some strong examples of people who used visualization to accomplish great feats. Some of them you may know, and then others you may not. But let's jump into it. A study looking at brain patterns in weightlifters found that the patterns activated when a weightlifter lifted hundreds of pounds were similarly activated when they only imagined lifting. In some cases, research revealed that mental practice was almost effective as true physical practice. So again, placing yourself there, the body doesn't know the difference. So if you're, in this case, this individual during this study visualized that he was lifting the weights that he wanted to lift, and his body acted as if it was doing the thing. So I've heard about people who are in the Olympics that do the same thing, skiers, skateboarders, everybody. There's a host of people in the Olympics, but I've heard of people in the Olympics before they go on to perform, they practice some form of visualization. Um, but the ones who have succeeded practice visualization the most, in my research. It's not something that you do once or twice. Again, it's something that, just like everything else, you have to do repeatedly. Just like you have to write down your goals, your affirmations, meditate. You have to do this stuff repeatedly because over the years, you've repeatedly done things and they've created habits. Now, whether those habits serve you or don't serve you is something that you have to decide for yourself. But if you want to create good habits, you have to do the same thing you did with those bad habits, which is constantly reinforce them. So that means that you're going to have to carve time out of your day to take time, step back, and visualize where you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to get there, what it's going to be like when you get there. And then your brain and your body will act as if this is the case. We got to put ourselves there first in our mind, and then our body will follow, or our situations will follow. I'm not sure who said this quote. I'm trying to think real quick, but it's eluding me. It's like 4:30 in the morning right now. Um, but the quote is, "What you can conceive, you can achieve." So nothing is possible if you can paint the picture in your brain first, and then you just follow suit. You lay down this plan. This is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to look like when I get there. When I get there, this is how I'm going to act. This is who I'm going to be in order to obtain this goal, this dream, this vision. And then you just follow suit. I know it sounds easy, but just like anything, with hard work and repetition, you'll definitely be able to accomplish this. I mean, I'm still practicing my visualization techniques. But I'm getting better. I'm better than I was yesterday, and I'm definitely a whole lot better than I was, at 25 or 21, because I didn't realize the importance of stuff like this. After I left high school, I kind of fell off with my visualizations. Because I chased after my pilot's license so heavy, I was looking up techniques and stuff like that, and I was doing it. And then once I got my pilot's license, I was like, oh, this is awesome, and I was going to apply a lot of the same techniques I used to get my pilot's license to other aspects of my life, which I did in high school, like get my diploma, sports, drill. I was part of the drill team, stuff like that, leadership. But again, like I was talking about earlier, once I got out of high school and I started, encountering the world and some of the hardships that the world has for me or had for me, it kind of defeated me, to be honest. It kind of wore me down, and it just didn't seem like I was producing like I wanted to. So I kind of got into this space where I didn't visualize. It was more like I just need to produce, and I felt like I produced through action. Not saying that you can't produce through visualization, or that, through action you'll always get the product that you're looking for, but there's many different aspects to production. Like Nike says, you can just do it, definitely, but just like I was saying about the Olympic competitors, like the best, like a lot of people make it to the Olympics, but a lot of people don't make it into the news. A lot of people don't stand on that podium because there's different levels of preparation. There's different levels of skill. There are different levels of competitors. So, I mean, why not do everything that you can do to make yourself successful? To give yourself as much as a chance as you can possibly have, because these techniques that we discuss, that we talk about in the podcast, this stuff is out there. The information is out there. Tons of people are talking about it. Tons of motivational speakers. I just feel, like it's kind of my purpose to bring it to the community and to bring it to people who might not otherwise know about it. Because these are some of the things that helped me out when I was younger and could have helped me out when I was older, should I have stuck with what I was doing? But I kind of fell away from it. And now that I'm coming back to it, I'm reaping the benefits of the things that we're discussing. And they also act as a reminder to myself of, what I need to be doing day in and day out. Um, so yeah, I know we went on a little, side note, but I feel like it's equally as important. I want to be transparent with you guys and let I'm not perfect. I'm definitely trying to learn as well. And these podcasts are reminders to myself, what I need to be doing, how I need to be doing it. And I'm learning every time I do a podcast. Every time I put new information out there, every time I, come up with a new topic, there's a lot of the information that I have just off the top of my head. But I do research with every podcast that I create because the information I have may be old or it may serve me, but just the way somebody else put something or a study may put information out there may be the way that somebody needs to hear it in order for it to sink in with them. All right, so getting back to the podcast, Nathan Sharansky, he was a computer specialist who spent 9 years in prison in the USSR after being accused of spying on the United States. While in solitary confinement, he played himself in mental chess, and he was quoted saying that I might as well use this opportunity to become a world champion. In 1996, Sharansky beat the world champion chess player Garry Kasparov. I believe they're both Russian. But again, this is visualization. I mean, what better use of his time? He's locked up for 9 years. Why not use that time to be productive, especially in solitary confinement where you have little stimuli and access to basically nothing. Is basically you against your mentality. So this is an example of somebody taking a horrible situation and turning it into something good, beneficial for himself. He used it to work on his chess game, and as an end result, he was able to beat the standing chess champion. Um, this is kind of an extreme example because he kind of had 9 years to himself, but yet and still it proves the fact, that the power of visualization. If we put that much time and mental energy into a task that we wanted to accomplish, how great would it be? Instead of thinking of why not, think about, what if, when people say you can't do it, nobody's done it, or you're too young or whatever, instead of going along and saying, you're right, or, maybe I should consider what you're saying, you should just think to yourself, what if I do make it? What if I am the youngest person to do that? What if I beat the status quo? I'm not supposed to make it, but I do. Instead of saying why me, say try me. You just got to recalibrate your mind, how you think, and what you value, and then and you can do that all through visualization. It's just yet another tool. So basically, again, another side note. Basically, my goal in creating this podcast is to give you a toolbox. And in that toolbox, I'm just trying to give you tools that will help you get through life, get through hardships, and just push harder to get to your goals. Now, these tools might not work every day. They definitely won't work immediately, but through consistency, discipline, and with time, I feel like these tools will help you to accomplish or grow nearer to your goals. And you'll definitely become a better person in the process. Um, it just takes patience, discipline, consistency, and time. And these tools will definitely help you to be a better person, I feel, in the long run. Back to the podcast. Noted as one form of mental rehearsal, visualization has been popular since the Soviets started using it back in the 1970s to compete in sports. Now, many athletes employed this technique, including Tiger Woods, who has been using it since his preteen years. Seasoned athletes use vivid, highly detailed internal images and run throughs of their entire performance, engaging all their senses in their mental rehearsal, and they combine their knowledge of all the sports venues with mental rehearsal. World champion golfer Jack Nicklaus has said, I never hit a shot, not even a practice shot, without having a very sharp and focused picture of it in my head. Even heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali used mental practice to enhance his performance in the ring, such as affirmations, visualizations, mental rehearsal, self confirmation, and perhaps the most powerful epigram of personal worth ever uttered: I am the greatest. We all know the story of Tiger Woods. We all know the story of Muhammad Ali. I'm not sure about Jack Nicklaus. I'm not really a golfer. I've heard his name mentioned, and I know that he is extremely good at what he does. But this, just like we discussed this earlier about how athletes use visualization in order to up their performance, up their game. Tiger Woods was at one time at the top of the golf world. I'm not sure his positioning now, but I know he kind of fell off. Muhammad Ali was the greatest boxer. He won the Olympics. He won boxing in the Olympics, and he had a lot of success outside of the Olympics. And we constantly heard Muhammad Ali say, I am the greatest, I am the greatest, I am the greatest. That is a form of affirmations. With affirmations with visualization are a very powerful tool as well. I recommend that you say affirmations daily and you visualize daily. This can be done through meditation, like a guided meditation, or if you just, take time out of your days, draw down your affirmations in a book, and then read them to yourself every morning. So I have a little notebook here, and in this notebook, when I'm listening to other podcasts or seminars I'm attending or whatever or what have you, I write down certain things that are important to me. In that book, I also write affirmations of what I want to be, who I want to be, where I want to be, what I want to do, stuff like that. And I wake up every morning and I read those affirmations, and it's just confirmation, to get me on the right track, to start my day with that focus specifically in mind. And that focus is my dream and my goal and my why, because it's very important to determine what your why is. We've discussed that before. And then just use that why to push you and pull you, and then use the visualization to put yourself in that space, to feel those feelings, to have that energy. Going back to the podcast, or I'm sorry, my notes. Visualization is very important in accomplishing our dreams. It gives us a clear picture of what we want and specific details surrounding our dreams. It is important to be specific. When write down goals, it is equally important to be specific when visualizing your goals as well. Visualization sets a vibration or frequency in your body that will attract like frequencies onto yourself. Again, the law of attraction, like attracts like. So if you're in a defeated mindset, you'll attract defeat, hardships, bad situations. If you're in a successful mindset or in a successful space, you will attract that type of energy to you. Like attracts like. There is sorry, my mouse dropped. There is a TV show, documentary on Netflix called The Secret. It talks about the law of attraction in depth. There's also a book called The Secret, and the documentary is based off of the book. I would recommend watching the podcast and reading the book, because it talks about the law of attraction in depth, how to successfully utilize it and stuff like that. But visualization, I feel, is if if affirmations are the left hand, I feel that visualizations are the right hand. Um, you can definitely exist and work without one or the other, but it would be difficult. It would be harder for you if you didn't apply both of them into your life. I mean, you definitely can, but I mean, why would you when you know to be successful? You just have to apply both. And it's really not that hard. It just takes consistency and discipline. Let's see. Um, in in I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. In The Secret on Netflix, they talk about visualization, and they talk about going to the dealership. Like if you want a car, going to the dealership, sitting in the car, imagine how it would feel being in that car. If it's like a convertible, like imagine driving down a road, a windy road, with the wind blowing on your head and stuff like that. Or, even when you're at home, sit in your car, close your eyes, imagine what type of car you want, what color, what year, how many miles, what features you want on it. The sky's the limit. In your mind, you can create anything. So, why not go as high or fly as far as you want to? Um, it's important that you be specific. So if you want a red car, what type of red car? Because there's tons of red cars. Do you want like a Mazda, a Honda, um, a Lexus, a Mercedes? Like what type of engine size do you want? Turbo, no turbo? Do you want air conditioning, power windows, power seats? You have to be specific. And I think one of the things that we don't do when we write our goals and when we visualize is be specific. That specificity is what attracts that exact thing or those exact circumstances into our life. So we need to be extremely detailed with what we want and how we want to go about getting it. At the end of the day, we are all creators. And this process first starts in our mind. And this goes back to the podcast that I was talking about. We can only exist or operate in one or two spaces mentally. We can either be creators or we can either survive. And, it's up to you to decide which mindset, which space you're going to operate in. Because if you're in one, you can't be in the other. So if you're surviving, you can't be creative, and even though one may help the other, is not going to help you in the long run, because survival is a very immediate thing. You're worried about how can I get through this right here, right now, where creativity can create, can help you to come up with ideas, to help your situation out in the long run, or to help you out in the long run, or to help you accomplish a task that is set further out than the immediate right now, like today, tomorrow, what have you. It's something that might be a year, a couple years, or 10 years down the road. But again, we can't be our best selves when we're in survival. So that's another podcast on visualization, another important tool for the toolbox. And I hope you guys have a great day.